I'm going to show you some examples that take a couple of different laws of exponents and put them all together in the same question. So let's look at our first example. When simplified, the expression the cube root of m to the fourth times m to the negative 1/2 is equivalent to, and then I have 4 multiple choice answers. So I'm going to work with that first parenthesis. I'm going to use power over root to convert from a radical into a fractional exponent. So I have m to the 4/3 in my first parentheses. The second parentheses I haven't changed. I'm going to leave it alone as m to the negative 1/2. Now, I want to multiply. My laws of exponents tell me that when I multiply, I can add my fractions. So I'm going to go to my calculator and add my fraction. So in my calculator, I'm going to set this up using alpha y equals for my fraction, 4/3 plus negative 1/2. And I get 5/6. So that means I have m to the 5/6 power. However, that's not one of my answer choices. If you notice, all of your answer choices have been converted back to radicals. So I'm going to use power over root again. 5 is my power. My root is 6. So the 6th root of m to the 5th. Choice 4. Here's another example. Use the properties of rational exponents to determine the value of y for the equation. So I have the cube root of x to the 8th divided by x to the 4th to the 1/3 power equals x to the y. And then it has that x is greater than 1. We don't need to worry about that. We're only looking at the equation. So I'm going to start with my numerator. Once again, I'm going to use power over root. So this is x to the 8/3 power divided by, and I'm going to keep it right now so I only do one step at a time. I don't want to confuse you. Now, I'm going to use power to a power for my denominator. Power to a power tells me I can multiply. So in my calculator, 4 times 1/3 gives me 4/3. So my denominator, I still have my numerator. My denominator is x to the 4/3. Now, I have division. When I divide, my laws of exponents tell me to subtract. So back to my calculator. 8/3 minus 4/3, and I get 4/3. So that means I have x to the 4/3 is equal to x to the y. If you notice, I have a common base. On both sides of the equation, I have x to a power. Once I have a common base, all I care about are my exponents. So that means that y is equal to 4/3. Let's take a look at another one. Given the equal terms, the cube root of x to the 5th and y to the 5/6, determine and state y in terms of x. So whenever you see in terms of x, we can just cross that out. We don't really care. We just want to know what y equals. That's my end goal. So they're telling me that these two terms are equal. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, set them equal to each other. Now, on the left side, I have a radical. I'm going to use power over root to convert to a fractional exponent. So this becomes x to the 5/3. And I still have y to the 5/6. I want the y by itself. So I need to solve for y. In order to get rid of a fractional exponent, we're going to raise both sides to the reciprocal power. Because by doing that, on the right-hand side, 5/6 times 6/5 cancels, and this is technically y to the 1st, or just y. And over here, I have x to the 5/3 to the 6/5 power. Power to a power tells me to multiply, so back to my calculator, I'm going to do 5/3 times 6/5. 5/3 times 6/5. and we get 2. So that means that y is equal to x squared, and they wanted us to solve for y. That's it. Let's take a look at one more example. When simplified, the expression w to the negative fifth over w to the negative ninth to the 1/2 power is equivalent to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide. So when I divide, I have to subtract. So I'm going to do negative 5 minus negative 9. If you have trouble with negatives, check it in your calculator. We get 4. So that means the inside of my parentheses is going to be w to the 4th. And then I still have that 1/2 on the outside because I haven't done anything with it. Power to a power tells me to multiply. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 4 times 1/2, and I'm just going to do 0.5 because they're equivalent, and I get 2. So that means I have w squared, which is choice 2.